Okay, so this is Toby, and we're here in the behind the scenes studio. And today I have Lisa Plass, who composed the theme song for my podcast. And I just love it. And, Lisa and I have been friends for about 2 years, and we went on a trip last fall. And in the car, I just had this brilliant idea like, oh, yeah, I'm doing a podcast, and Lisa's a musician. And so I said, do you think you could compose a theme song for my podcast? And little did I know, dumb me, that's what Lisa does is compose songs. So of course she could do it. And she asked me, what's my favorite song? And it was like, oh, I love Piano Man because I just love the lyrics, but it's not so much the music, it's the lyrics. And I love Bohemian Rhapsody just because it's such a mishmash of stuff. And she said, okay, I got what I need to work on. And so off she went. And so, Lisa, tell us a little bit about what that process is to bring a song to life like that.
Well, it is painful at times because you have so many thoughts in your head, and the idea is a lot of the time when I'm doing something is for myself because something I need to perform or something I'm arranging. But when someone asks me, I'm like, oh, the pressure's on now. I got to really make sure they like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I took your suggestions, and it was funny. I came back, from our trip and pulled out both songs, started kind of dissecting them, looking at them, listening to them and saying, okay, I get an idea of the songs that she likes and looking at the chord structure. But then I came up with a couple different things. I was thinking of something more ethereal in the beginning, like fairies and forests. And like adventurous, and I was like, nah, that I'm just not feeling it, but I have them. I wrote like 6 different fairies and a forest type of jingles. And then at one time, one of our conversations after, you had said, I love the Harry Potter themes, and there's something about it. And I was like, oh, okay, I could get into Harry Potter. So I started listening to some of those symphonies, and then I came up with, I think, 2 or 3 jingles that are more orchestral in nature. And, but again, I was like, I listened to them and I'm like, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm still not feeling it. And then one day driving to the studio, all of a sudden this bass line just popped into my head. And it's because I had been listening to thousands and thousands of songs for inspiration, just to give me some ideas, because that's usually my process when I'm picking something. And the bass line came into my head. I literally pulled over so I could, sing it into the phone so I wouldn't forget by the time I got to the studio, because that would happen because, I'm shopping, what am I cooking for dinner? And I'd be like, damn it, I forgot the line.
Yes.
So I pulled over, sang it into my phone, got to the studio, wrote the whole thing out, then went to the piano, started working out chord progressions. Then I met up with my guitar teacher. He's amazing, Tony. And I said, here's the bass line. This is what I got going. I want this groove. And he's like, okay, you want it on electric or acoustic? I was like, let's do both and let's try it, And then he calls me. He's like, hey, I got this fantastic app on my phone. It's called Drum Genius, and it gives you any drum line. I was like, any drum line? He's like, I'm telling you, any drum line. So we started going through. And he's like, what are you looking for? So I started doing a drum line. I was like singing it to him over the phone. I was like, this is the feel. This is what I want. He's like, got it. He's like, all right, give me 10 minutes. And so like literally 12 minutes later, I get an email with the acoustic version and the electric bass. And then he calls me. He's like, all right, listen to both of them. But I'm not biased, but I'm telling you, I think you're going to like the upright bass better. And I said, okay. And so I listened to both and I called him right back. I was like, yep, upright bass it is.
I didn't know that was an upright bass.
Yeah.
That is one of my most favorite instruments.
Yeah.
I love upright bass.
Yes. And
that's why
I'm
so excited.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I knew that you did. But, because it was funny. He was like, see what you think about the electric. I was like, nope. I said, it has to be, the upright, because we were going for more of the traditional. So then, I brought in my friend Caroline, who's also works with me, and she's the piano and voice teacher here at the studio. So these are all people that I've worked with for years. And I said, hey, I got this line. So we're working on the whole, piano line. And then Tony's coming in and he's like, wait, I got this idea. And so like, we're literally like jamming and putting the whole thing together. He's like, here's this. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Then finally he came in, he said, oh my God. He's like, just put them all together as one long line. And I was like, so then we started jamming with it and we're like, yeah, this is what works.
Wow.
So, so the groove came together with those two. And then we thought we were going to have to go into a studio, but I have to say, thanks to technology, I had everything on my computer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
That's
mixed,
excellent.
I mixed the whole thing myself. I put it all
Mhm.
together. And then the final piece was my flute improv over it. So,
Mhm.
Tony says, "Oh, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "Give me a second. I got to listen to this groove." So, so they're playing it and I'm listening and I'm listening. I was like, "Oh man, I got it." And I just picked up my flute and just started playing.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "That's it." And he was like, "Write that down." And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So I went and I, quickly wrote it down. So I want to say the whole process from beginning to end, it took us 3 days to get everything done
Wow.
because of just like, trying different things and alternatives. And then we got the groove that we got. And when I
Mhm.
emailed them, I said, I'm sending it to Toby. I said, now's the time. If you don't like something, tell me. And I emailed it to both of them. They're like, oh my God. They're like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to it the first time and I thought, "Okay, yeah." And I listened to it the second time and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in love with this." And I listened to it the third time and I said, "That flute is asking a question. I hear the
Uh-huh.
da-da-da,
Yeah.
da-da-da, it's asking a question."
Yep.
And then
It's
I
you.
called
I
you.
I made
Yeah,
you. That's you. I'm playing
yeah,
you as the flute. I was
uh-huh.
like, that's Toby mixing it up and asking the fierce, tough questions,
Yes, I
Not
love
gonna let
it.
them get by.
I love it. And I played it for my husband and I played it for my stepson, and my stepson's really cynical and he always has things, that he thinks would be better. And he listened to it and he went, "Well, that's pretty good." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we passed the Kevin meter, this has
I
got to be
can't tell you
awesome."
how honored I am because,
Yeah,
if I could win him over.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because he's a tough audience. And,
Mhm.
I've sent it to so many people. I've sent it to my audio engineer and he just loved it. My publisher
Mhm.
loves it. I just, and you told me the story about your vision for the conversation of the music. So will you share that with us? Because I think it's just beautiful.
Yeah, because it's like it's as if you have your guest that's coming in, and they think, all right, we're just going to keep it light and breezy, so
Uh
that's like
huh.
the baseline that comes in, and then it's like it's maybe like your producer who's the piano saying, okay, just have a seat, we're going to get you some water, sit
Hmm.
tight, we're going to have a really nice conversation, and then you just come in and say, oh no, that's not it. I'm here to ask you the tough question. You thought this was going to be easy? Put your big girl pants on. We're ready to go.
Right,
That's the
right.
idea behind it.
Uh huh.
So you shake it up, and it's like through the course of the whole flute line, then she comes in with the bass and the piano at the end because you've gotten them to, reveal their mess, but then you bring it all together and
I
show
love
how
it.
it helps, at the
Yeah.
end. So you
Uh
all are
huh.
working together at the end.
I just love it. That is just beautiful.